Do you do any work for charity? Have you been involved in charity at all? I found charity one of the trickiest problems I've ever come across. And I was very fortunate to learn from a man called Harold Sumption. And I learnt a lot of things, but I'm just going to tell you a story about my mother, who died about 10 years ago. And at a certain point in her life, for some reason, she decided to start a charity for animals, never having shown much interest that I could remember in animals, but she started a charity for animals. And I went to see her one day, and two people had come in to get some cats. And after they'd left, I said, "How much money did they give you?" And she said, "Money? This is a charity." And I said, "Look, Molly, I know it's a charity, but it's taken up all your money and it's taking up a fair bit of mine. So it may be a charity, but it's also a business. So what should I do?" she said. So I said, "Well, you should start collecting names. I.e. build a database, yeah? Every time somebody rings you up, or somebody comes in to see you, or somebody buys something at one of your bring and buy sales, get their name. When you've got 1,000 names and addresses, give me a call." So she gave me a call about 3 months later. She said, "I've got 1,000 names and addresses. What do I do now?" And I said, "What you do is you sit down and you write a heart-rending letter telling people that if you don't get some money, you are going to have to close down. And tell some stories, the sort of stories you tell me about the terrible things people do to animals. And then send me the letter." So she wrote the letter and sent it to me. And I looked at it. And I edited it slightly to make it easier to read. And I put in a PS because I knew that the PS is the most remembered part of the letter. And I said, "Send it out." And she sent it out to 1,000 people. And she got £5,000 back. Now we're talking 20 years ago. 20 years ago, £5,000. Incredible, yeah? So I was very impressed with this, and I sent the letter to my boss, David Ogilvie. And I said, "David, this is my mother's first effort at copywriting at the age of 70. And let me tell you what results it got." And David was very careful with his money, never wasted any money. So he sent the letter back with it, scribbled on it on a fax. "Hi, your mother." Now, why do I tell this story? I always tell this story when I'm talking about charities. Very, very important with charities, yeah? And I do a talk. If you can't make them cry, you won't make them buy. You've got to tap into people's emotions. And my mother was able to do this to an extraordinary degree.